including proper diet, sleep, exercise, and social contacts with loved ones at home and by email and phone with other family and friends. Need help and support? Please contact us at the hotline 311 Psychosocial Support at 722-6575 or 518-4157. Brought to you by PAHO, the OACS Commission, and UNICEF.
I can't stay.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this show. It is Tuesday, although it feels like Monday, but it is Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. I do hope that, for all of what went on or what didn't go on because we had to be in by 3, I hope you did have happy Easter. It was a long weekend, although, it wasn't a normal fun way of doing things, I guess. But I guess later on you'll call me and let me know how things went on. In any case, we are seeing a new week. We're going into the best month of the year. And we have a lot to get into. But before we do, let us say good morning to those of you listening to us in our radio partner station, that is Hits FM 92.1 and 91.1. Good morning to all of you locked in and listening. Also, if you're watching us on television on channel 124 on Float, that is UTV Underground Television. Welcome. Also, if you are with us on social media, we have YouTube today. We have YouTube every day, okay, but it's the newest, so you guys could check us out there. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, Nepot Nula, and yeah, I think that is it. But before we get into it, let me say happy birthday to a very dear friend of mine, Cheyenne Pierre. I do hope you have a good one. Yeah, and I guess we'll have to do the Skype calls later and check it out then. But I do hope that you enjoy your day. Now, over the weekend, I know that there were videos circulating, things we didn't expect to see, even with everything that we've seen in the past couple of months. And I try to, go back and remember when we first heard the term COVID warden, and even then it was already steeped in, uncertainty, because you had the then, well, he wasn't commissioner then, but Milton Daisy saying that the prime minister thought that it was a good thing to put in, and then, the story was changing. So from the very onset, that was already a very strange thing for us. We didn't understand it. It seemed like, you put in some Suses in uniform going around the country, trying to tell on the people for the boss, that kind of stuff. So it really did have a sort of a feeling like you were being pitted against your other people, your friends and family, cousins or whatever, that sort of thing. So you know what, we'll start there because we have some things to discuss. But let us start with the health minister and what she had to say on COVID recently.
I just couldn't believe that people would choose to disrespect a person in a government uniform that way. I said to myself, imagine if this was my daughter or my son doing that job, paid to do that job, and they're trying to do their job, and the public has ganged up on these people like that, disregarding the fact that these are young people who are putting themselves at risk to try and keep our people safe and our country organized. And to see that happening, and some people have no respect at all to take it and put it on social media, and it's going all around the world. That is very unfortunate, Timothy. But I think that we have to learn to respect authority a little bit more. And I'm not saying that authority can treat people anyhow they want, or they can use brute force or anything. But clearly you can see they were overpowered, they were outnumbered, and these are new recruits trying to do a job. So at what point do we as citizens of this country take responsibility for our health? So I would have liked to see that the St. Lucian public come on board, and really help these people to do the work that they were supposed to do.
But apart from your observations, do you think that we're going to portion any blame at the feet of the COVID-19 wardens, because you're saying there are new recruits and people have been asking within the level of training, whether it was in-depth, the length of the training that was provided to them?
That may be so, Timothy, but at the same time, you've seen the abuse, you've seen the reaction to them, you've seen the lack of cooperation with these young people, you know, and to me, that is not called for. That's not warranted. We have these are uniformed officers, regardless of the fact that you may look at them and say that small girl or that small boy. What if it was a set of tough men that were there? Would they have been treated the same way? So we have to learn to respect each other in this country. It has nothing to do with whether they had additional training or not. So because they don't have additional training, you jump on them? You want to beat them up? That is not the way, Timothy. We cannot go on like this, you know?
But
they have to at least respect the uniform.
COVID will be with us for a very long time.
I think so.
We can only assume that the COVID wardens will be around for a very long time. Am I right or wrong with this, in terms of the future of the COVID wardens?
I don't know about the wardens, because the wardens were brought in as a result of the spike. And now that we are saying we have this, we believe we have it under control. Like they say, ceteris paribus, with all else being equal, and if we continue at this rate, we are going to have that, you know, where we want it to be.
Bonjour, moi vle di PM la, nous se warden nan nou brise l'argent, puis il y a 2 mois qu'a monté nous pour qu'on une pièce l'argent.
Yo pas payer ça toujours?
Non, et nous ni bas pour payer. So, di PM nan nou brise l'argent nous.
Mande il li fort.
PM paye nous se warden nan nou brise l'argent pour nous aller travailler. Nous brise la veille là. Moun ka pour la bataille là nous les chinois paye nous s'il vous plaît.
Ou ça warden?
Oui.
But
So-
combien wardens a dit moi yo pas jeune
So,
payer?
tout se bay ça c'est warden n'a ka fait là yo pas rien payer?
Non, yo pas jeune payer, chasse pas même faire allocation pour yo.
We can talk. An hour is not enough, but we have seen in the past couple of months a lot with the videos, all of which have gone viral, thousands of people looking at it. But I found even then, when Mary Isaac was lying, if we're going to be quite honest, and saying that, you know, the COVID wardens are being attacked, you could say a lot of things. I do not think, in the videos that we've seen at least, that there has been any attacking. In fact, what I do think people are seeing is an excessive use of force. And with that happening too, put that together with them, they are getting paid yet and they are getting paid on time. I think now that doesn't seem to be an issue because people aren't calling me about it anymore. But in all of that, do you feel, I mean, when you're looking at people who have had 1 week of training virtually, and they're now given power to arrest you and do whatever they want, but then you cannot do anything, you cannot even, you know, defend yourself, you cannot go in court with it because they're not liable under the COVID Act, because whatever they do in the name of COVID is perfectly legal. We are living, and more, when I think, you know, we've seen it all with the COVID wardens. This weekend was just madness. And at first, on the surface of it, it looks, you know, comical, but there are so many underlying issues there. And that is why we're going to take a look at the most recent videos. But before we do, let's listen to our police commissioner warning us that, you know, we would have seen something different. We would have seen more force if that were even, if you could even imagine more force. Let's take a look.
Commissioner Daisy says the force has pooled its resources to strengthen its numbers for the weekend.
But we are urging persons to be considerate, do not venture into activities that are not approved. You know what are activities that you are permitted to do. It was read. It is you could have a house gathering with at least 10 persons being family members. So that is all the partying that is permitted. We see in other islands their protocols. We have some islands that the beaches are closed over the weekend. We see some that have a total two-day shutdown. But we do not have that. Persons are still free to move around, but there are certain things, certain activities that persons have to desist from participating in or hosting. There are some flyers going around about a breakfast party and so on. These things will not be permitted. So off the bat, don't try it. It will not be permitted to happen. Our intel have received information as to where these things will be taking place, so we will take the necessary action to ensure that these things don't go ahead.
Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy.
The St. Lucia Labour Party has called for the newly announced curfew restrictions to be applied to all St. Lucians across the board. Speaking during a press conference on Tuesday, First Deputy Political Leader Ernest Hilaire stressed that COVID-19 remains a very real threat and urged all St. Lucians to abide by the necessary protocols at all times. However, Hilaire has argued that these protocols cannot be selectively applied to the people of St. Lucia.
We do not believe there should be two St. Lucias. Already we have situations where some can play golf when they really ought not to, but our footballers cannot practice for World Cup qualifiers. We really believe there should be one St. Lucia. There are bars we know in this country that are open beyond the stipulated times, and yet we also know that other people with the rum shops are being arrested and charged. They should not be open. We condemn them being open beyond the stipulated times, but what happened to the others? We cannot have a tale of two St. Lucias.
The opposition member suggested that this alleged selective application also has implications for political activities in the height of an election year.
And we are hearing that the same weekend that times have been adjusted, that there is ongoing political activity by a particular candidate. And we're wondering, and we've seen the flyers, and we say, well, how can you have a fun walk with hundreds of people, and at the same time, we cannot have a spot meeting from the back of a van, speaking to people in their homes? Can we be consistent in the application of the protocols? And who sanctioned that? Who approved the fun walk? Who is going to provide protection on the road? Is it the police? The same police that is arresting some guys for walking, coming from work late at nights and whatnot? So we believe there should be protocols. We believe it should be respected by the population, and we encourage solutions that it is for your best to observe the protocols. But we are calling on the government, stop applying the protocols with favoritism.
The government and health officials recently noted with concern that there has been an increase in social gatherings. According to Hilaire, while it is necessary to ensure such activities do not take place, protocols should be introduced with greater consideration.
It's the weekend. We know tradition is a weekend when people get together and families get together. If the problem is the beaches, then shut down the beaches for the weekend. If the problem is people having river lines, burn river lines. But should you deny me going to my mother's house on Easter Sunday? Or if I go to a house, I have to leave before 3 o'clock because the curfew starts at 3 o'clock. But why can't my family gather for our usual Easter gathering on Sunday or Monday? If the problem is the beaches, then say that no access to the beaches for the weekend. Or we only allow in family gatherings of no more than 10 or 15 people. Say that.
St. Lucia is expected to revert to a 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew from Tuesday, April 6th after the Easter weekend. For Choice News Now, Amani Mathre reporting.
And that's just one way of thinking, I guess, because from that the time we heard 3 p.m. and for me it really is okay. So why 3? Why not 2? Why not 12? Why 6 that day? Why 7 the other day? I just want to get the reasoning behind that. I don't get it. I don't get it. But more than that, I think there are legitimate concerns from the very onset when we have seen the Prime Minister and his people within cabinet and otherwise they're going out campaigning. Up to last week, I think the Prime Minister and Sarah Flood-Bowbray, they were in Castries Central, walking around the middle of the day, without their masks on. And we saw that, and we've heard nothing from the police commissioner, nothing, at least admonishing, at least saying something, none of that will happen. And people see that, and at the same time, you will get people being arrested for the same thing. And from the very onset, when we saw the Prime Minister in Dennery and other places, the commissioner would say, you know, what we saw the Prime Minister do it, yes, it was wrong, we gave him and the cabinet ministers masks and all that kind of stuff. So again, it is a thing where people do not feel like they're being treated the same way. There is a double standard here. And we've had the conversations before, but I am telling you, when I saw the videos over the weekend, I say, at least we are going to take a look at what happened, what we saw the COVID wardens doing in different parts of the country over the weekend.
Yeah, look at that. Look at right where police go in and harass people. Them police and them dumb wardens. Today is big Easter. Let people enjoy a little day by the beach, man. Check that magic.
Yeah. So many of them.
Go and pick up your squad. Jackass.
Jackasses.
Where are people?
All of you have to tell like cows.
Bunch of jackass.
They just come from the sea on the other side.
Actually, I catch one person.
But they get nobody. That don't have nobody on it.
Bunch of idiots. That's what you're doing on this Monday holiday, Easter.
Yeah. Nonsense, yes.
They're still looking for the fellas. Just give up. Give up, man. Check the wardens running all in the bush behind people. Go.
Look, they take them.
Yes.
Yeah, put them on video. Put you all on video. They put you all on video, guys. You all are making no damn sense. Yeah.
Bunch of jackass.
Election coming. Election around the corner. Yeah.
Well, the first one mixing hot there, you see. We did an arrest in a man there. I don't know what they're arresting him man for, doggy. Yeah.
Oi. It's just man.
Check the wardens running all in the bush behind people.
Look at that one. Ebe. Oh Lord God, heaven is king. Oh my God. People can't even breathe right there. Oh, people can't even breathe.
Watch out up here.
What's that? For what they're doing that?
I guess they had some people by the beach.
Watch
out.
Take it.
Watch how many of them. Watch out.
Yeah, take that. Take that. Put that live. Put that live. Your live. Put that live. We put in your live.
All of that are people running behind.
Put in your live.
Because I dare.
Yeah.
I see the fellas running from by the beach, but I didn't check what that was happening.
You're live on Facebook. Yeah.
Shit. These people really don't have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Them police really have nothing to do. Them wardens too troublesome. I don't know why a cow don't run behind them in their ass. You're going all behind there looking for somebody. One person, I saw 3 fellas running from there. And then I hear a commotion.
Was by the beach there.
Yes, so I hear a commotion. And when I check, I see how much fucking police by the road.
Look at one.
Just so?
Yeah.
Hour. Instead you got your home and enjoy your Easter, you're there harassing people.
You should tell her, hold on.
On the face of it, it's comical. You know, why are you running? You just got cool your feet out, just it's insane. So for me, when we're seeing that, and I imagine, you know, that's how, you know, the slaves were, you know, the suicide slaves, the will try to run behind those that looking for freedom, that kind of thing. It looked like that, like it didn't seem like a modern day thing happening here where people are running behind another person because they're out on a beach doing what they're doing. And I also feel too, with everything that we are facing, with the crime situation, that we have yet to hear any real strategy for the violent crimes that we're seeing, all of these things that we're still looking, you know, to see what we can do about it. We have resources, human resources out there in the world, in our country, in different parts of the community, arresting people for not wearing masks and running behind people in fields trying to get them because the police commissioner and this administration think that that is the problem and that is how you're going to deal with the COVID situation. We can discuss this in however we want to, but I know and I feel that the fabric of our society is disintegrating because when you have that happening and the way it looks pathetic, the person who's running behind another person because they're out on a beach, when you go home to your family, do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel like you have, you know, done a good day's job and you have dignity and you respect what you do, that kind of thing? When you're seeing yourself do that, I think it really says to us as a people, you know, where we are right now and us being pitted against each other and the willingness to, you know, abide by the whims of people, even when those who are creating the rules, they're breaking them every day. It was funny at first, but then I got sad. I got sad that I'm living in a country where that is happening, and I didn't do anything. I tried to stay within the rules, the laws, and of course I will let people and encourage people to do the same. But we cannot deny that there is a double standard, and it is not right. I did not enjoy watching that. It was pathetic. It was pathetic. And later on, maybe we could talk about it to see, you know, where we are at this point. But people being used in such a way shouldn't sit well with you. It shouldn't. We'll be right back.
Check the wardens running all in the bush behind people.
Look at that one. Oh, Lord God, heaven is king. Oh my God. People can't even breathe right there. Oh, people can't even breathe.
I can't stay.
La vaccine COVID wive Saint Lucie, ekse pou moun ki an l'âge 18 l'année et moutan, moun ki ka travay a département santé ki wiskab, dokter, nos, polis, pompier, moun ki ni pisadou, kanser, batman chè, Tresha, l'oppression, epi moun ki an l'âge 65 l'année et moutan. Ou pani pou paye pou la vaccine, epi yo pa ka oblige ou point. Registration sa fait online an tout health center ek epi dokter privé. Vacciner pour vous, pour ça ou, et puis pour nous.
Hey girl, what's your name? What's your name? Hey,
you're in a good mood.
Girl, if I tell you, I just pre-registered for the COVID vaccine. Hey, but yes.
Supporting you in getting vaccinated is important to us at the Ministry of Health. By selecting one of the options for pre-registering, it helps us to be better prepared and more efficient at managing your demand for vaccination. There are 3 ways to pre-register for your COVID-19 vaccine. 1. Go online by visiting https://hmi.govt.lc/. 2. Contact your closest wellness center. Or 3. Contact your private physician. When we get vaccinated, we don't only protect our health, we are taking action that benefits the health of our entire nation. Vaccinate for you, for yours, for us. A message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
UTV. I know you got it. If you identify with the most pulsating, the most riveting, the most eye-capturing UTV. To advertise with UTV, dial 484-7588 or 572-7588. For some of the most competitive rates, amazing programming, and bang for your buck. The most popular streaming channel, UTV 124 on Facebook. Get it now. Check us out on Instagram at UTV 124. Email us utvslu@gmail.com. UTV. It's not just for me. It's definitely TV for you.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us. I think that even though we spoke about it last week, listen, it's not enough. Huh? We need to take another look at what Fortuna Belrose said, but mostly because we have to discuss whether that is an issue that we're seeing culturally, or is it something that happens in one party? What exactly is happening with the way that you know, funds are being given out to parliamentarians, to, you know, district reps? And if we remember, and if you don't, I think we had a long weekend, so some of us might have forgotten. So let's take another look.
Promises you made. You and the Prime Minister walked through the George Charles Boulevard in 2016, and you made a number of promises to the people, but none of those have been fulfilled, and your government is actually in power.
Well, hold a sec, my lady.
Also, Ms. Belrose, I just want to know about the curfew, the 3 p.m. curfew on Sunday and Monday. What are your views on that, and why is that curfew? I would like you to explain that to me. And I also want to ask you, Ms. Belrose, to tell us a little about the health system. What is happening in light of the coronavirus, and there are so many complaints about the health system. The other thing I want to ask you as well is, what are you doing in Castries East for the single mothers? People are hungry, Ms. Belrose. What are you providing to them? What are you giving to those single mothers who have those children? Why isn't the internet at the Touche Park working to facilitate
Sounds like I'm the representative.
those kids? Because it used to be working, Ms. Belrose. These are the things I want you to speak about. Thank you.
Very good. I enjoy every question of yours, and I just want to say on a number of them. The first one, you talked about the Prime Minister and myself walked in the boulevard. I mentioned earlier that when you elect a government, you elect them on the basis of the policies and programs that they set out. The people of Castries East categorically chose to reject the United Workers' Party.
Just hold the line, caller. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying the people of Castries East chose categorically to reject the United Workers' Party at the last election. Yeah? 11 other constituencies said to the United Workers' Party, yes, we want to build a new St. Lucia with you, we are on the road with you, and we'll be working with you. And so the government sought to invest in those communities where they bought into the philosophy and thinking, you understand, of the government. It's very important that a community buys into the vision. When the Prime Minister came in, we just did a tour of the constituency. We made no promises. No promises at all were made. Because I'm a community worker and I understand when you raise people's expectations, the challenge it can pose for you. So we didn't make promises.
Just before you go, Minister.
Yes.
The other thing too is that added to that, there is that dynamic.
Yes.
That while she's saying that certain things you could have done, when you would have tried to intervene and do things, then you have the popular saying by the other side, you are selected and not elected. And so there's interference.
But even that, I'm not even too worried about that, because
the point I want to make is that when government tries to intervene in opposition constituencies, there's a lot of resistance.
Right.
Because they're saying that, in terms of getting things done as well.
Yeah. But I think the critical thing is people must understand that you selected Mr. Philip J. Pierre to represent you in Castries East. His job does not end on election day. His job is for 5 years. And so even if I had interest as a community person in the community, the representative of the constituency is Mr. Philip J. Pierre. And you know, Ricky, that's
and he
why...
Sits in Parliament.
And he sits in Parliament, he talks...
And he says you go around give laptop.
Let me tell you something. Mr. Pierre has a responsibility to write to the government on any matter that he wants. He can't just go and speak and spoke and spoke. No. If you're representing the people, there is an issue in your constituency, you need to sit down, put pen to paper to the right person and send it in to them. That's what representation is all about. And then you can show the people, look, I wrote to them. I wrote and I didn't get any support for the projects in the boulevard. I've written. You know, that's what you need to do. I've written and I've not seen anything. So he is the parliamentary rep and I never took that away from him. He is the rep for Castries East, not Fortuna Belrose. What Fortuna Belrose does is to respond to the needs of the community when they come to me. That's what I do. And I do it very well. And so perhaps that's why there's a little shikha now. But the fact is, if you come to me, you get total quality service. You know, good quality service you get. So let's make that abundantly clear. Mrs. Belrose is about servicing the people. Mr. Pierre had his responsibility to represent his constituency in every sphere of the word. You know, and having said that though, when I wrote to Mr. Pierre, I wrote, well, my ministry, because we have to do projects in communities with respect to our portfolios. We would write to him, and of course he would support, generally support. So what I don't understand is why when he wants something done, he's not writing. He needs to write and make your statement, write to the Prime Minister. Express your desire to see things happen. And then, of course, there's a process that one has to follow. But don't believe that you can just sit in a wild chair, you know, and ask for things to be done and it should be done right away. No, it doesn't work that way. We live in a country with limited resources, and so one has to prioritize all times. And so it must be done in that way. At least that is my thinking, my understanding, you know, of the way the system works. Put pen to paper and let the people know that you've written, and not just written to the right person to make it happen.
I will never, ever, ever get used to how asinine that was. I do like, though, one thing I have to say, I always like your nails. It's always well done. You know, I don't really like nails, but I like to see it on other people. You always have your nails well done. So, you know, with everything there, though, we are hearing, we are seeing a politician really just tell us right off the bat that, you know, if you are voting for the party, if you haven't voted for the United Workers' Party, then you will be punished for your decision, and they will have to focus on the other people. And then you have to think, we have to have the conversation about, you know, bringing your man to work day and all kind of thing, which, by the way, I'd have to ask whether that can happen over here. That's insane. How can you go on a show and say that? But I think it brings us to another point, where is that the case? Do other people feel that way? We have heard the leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, we've heard Ernest Hilaire, we've heard Alpha Baptiste, we've heard Musa speak of the same thing, that, you know, Vincent London can, you know, have money and be giving resources to people in the community. And you have to ask, of course, you know, on what basis do you have Vincent London being in the community and doing that? That is not your role. But one must also ask the question, you know, is the St. Lucia Labour Party guilty of it? And I have heard Guy Joseph say things of that sort, that he, when he was in opposition, you know, did not get the things that, you know, he wanted, or did not get to assist the people in his community as he wanted. And with that, you know, I think we need to take a look at that as well. Whether this is a cultural thing or this is a United Workers' Party thing that they, you know, they've adopted, and we've seen it in the past 4 years. Yes, we've heard the opposition talk about it to the point of whining to some people about this issue. And now when you're hearing it with your own self, your own ears, as the people say, the thinking, the decision-making process that went behind that. So let's take a look at the Castries. We'll start off with the Castries Southeast, but I think there are other constituencies. I also want to hear from, you know, Stephenson King, you know, when Dr. Anthony was the Prime Minister in the past, you know, were you victimized? Did you get the resources you needed for your community, or did you do what obtains now clearly and punish citizens of St. Lucia because of the way that they voted. Let's take a look at the Castries Southeast. We'll start there. Maybe in the other shows we'll look at the others. But it's saying the total value of projects undertaken in Castries Southeast from 2012 to 2016. That amounted to $3 million to $3,216,000. And we can go down through the list. Construction of concrete drains. We have several other projects that have been undertaken during that 4-year period, and again it amounts to about $3,200,000. Construction of a footpath in Sarot, in Odsa, in Tuapito. You can continue. It's going to be a long list, but it's there for, I think, for the people to see. And we have heard Guy Joseph speak in the recent past too, of the way that he has been treated, and I want to know, with everything being done here, does that look like, anything that's been given to the opposition members at all? Have you guys been given anything? And of course you've said no, but right there and then you see what has been given under the Dr. Kenny Anthony administration to at least one of the then opposition parliamentarians in 2012 all the way to 2016, which was amounting to $3 million. So I think you really have to make, because I heard the thing about too late say mem. Again, this is about what is right and what is wrong, and really just adhering to stipulation. If you're going to be given a parliamentary rep some resources, put it in the consolidated fund. Is that really happening, or are people being given money to just give to who they want, and not just money either? We've seen that in different ways, and we're going to also listen to Guy Joseph as he also speaks of one of the projects in his area in the recent past.
Guy Joseph expressed his delight in having seen the project come to fruition, but however explains that it wasn't an easy process in having the project implemented, as there were various impediments along the way, the biggest being finding a suitable spot for the facility.
It took me years, sometime in 2011, between 2010 2011, to get an arrangement with a gentleman, and I will mention his name here. His name is Mr. Jonathan Jacob Palmer, better known in the Sarot area as Mr. Jacob. I went to him when I saw this piece of land, and he said to me he's not selling. I tell him, well, if you're not selling, it's empty, can you lease it to us? He thought about it for a while, and maybe about a month or so after, he said yes, he's willing to lease it. Because the government was not going into a lease arrangement at the time, for a couple of years, I paid him from my pocket for the rental of the land.
Joseph went on to reveal that the project was later started in 2011, but was halted thereafter due to a change in government. Now in 2018, he says he can breathe a sigh of relief.
That worries me when Guy Joseph will say that and that it does show a difference in my mind of when you're going to have projects implemented, the thinking that goes behind it. You cannot say, it might sound like you're Robin Hood and you take it and you give it from your own pocket, but you cannot say that because the government has said no about something because of whatever rules that they have, that you're taking money from your own money to pay rent to someone that you're having your building on, and saying, you know what, that came out of my pocket. That's not the way it works, because when you start to blur the lines, that gives you a sort, like, it's okay, because if you're giving money, maybe you can take the money too to put it back, because you feel like you have given personally, so you think you can also take personally when the time comes. And I think that is a very dangerous thinking to have as a politician, and I think it opens the way to things that are not right, to corruption, to many other different things. It might sound good on, you know, a mic and people there, and as if you take your own money to give. But if it's not the way that it's supposed to happen, these are not protocols, and it should not happen. And we also have to have the discussion with many people, some people in the communities, again saying that they are being victimized. So yes, I think with the parliamentarians, they're being victimized, but on the ground too, we understand that those who did not vote for the United Workers' Party, they'll not get the relief packages that they need, the massive packages that was going out for COVID, because that is already the thinking. And for Guy, and I think there are different people guilty of it, different ministers guilty of it, as you know, within the community, but they have their henchmen that they give, you know, preferential treatment to, that they give to lord over the resources and stuff like that. And with Guy, we know that Terry Valse was that person for him in many of the different projects that had to be done, from the transition from the car park to where he is at the financial center. Who did it? It was Terry Valse. For many other different projects, for Director Wards to build a laundry in the OKU, Terry Valse. For St. Jude's and retrofitting the containers, Terry Valse. And I think some people understand that when that happens, it is not an equitable distribution of resources, and it is also wrong. We are going to take another look, and I think Adrian Auger spoke about this very well, about maintaining dignity, maintaining pride, even when you're assisting people, that is very, very important.
And because we are desperate, again, we are desperate, because the people are starving. But this is exactly why the people are starving.
Mendicants, not one of people who want to sit by and to say, la gouvernement, Mr. Minister. See, some people like that.
Same set of people are getting the food every day. Watch hungry people they have on the road there. Watch them. Hungry people that need food. You hear that? And they're taking all the food and they're bringing it at their home. A selected few, they said, that getting food.
A gouvernement porte sabao, and people have to sit on the side of the road with their children and suffer the indignity of a handout. This is not how you build a nation. Do you know what it is for a child to recover from that image of sitting hungry on the side of the road waiting for a van to pass you for a massy bag? You cannot recover from the psychological damage of that. And it is time for us to stop putting our people in that position.
We'll open the lines now at 572-7588, or you can also call, WhatsApp call at 484-7588. And I am looking forward to what you have to say. It could be anything that we've discussed so far in the show. There are a lot of things going on, but within the hour, that is what we could do. Anything that you want to discuss, anything that you deserves, that you think deserves highlighting. I really think, especially now, and we've seen it, and we've played it last week with Saya and what's his name, Fede, and that phone conversation, and just the way that people think that they can use people, they could victimize people. And when Fortuna said it, it really has to put things in perspective for us, and who really is abiding, who cares about citizens, or who cares just about winning and about punishing those they think did not make the right decision by voting them in. And I think I would like to hear, like I said, from, you know, King, being an elder statesman, I think, in his experience, how was he treated under the Dr. Kenny Anthony administration? Did he receive what a parliamentarian was supposed to, what any district rep was supposed to? Was he given, you know, the things that were needed and that were warranted? Let's put it where it is. That's all I'm asking. Let's put it where it is. Let's take that call. Good morning.
Hello, morning.
Hi, morning.
I think I'd like to see you make a distinction between, to the people, or the difference between a party and a government that's being paid by taxpayers' money. Taxpayers, whether they're yellow or red, is their money paying the government. And the government is supposed to be for all the people, not for some. If the party is for some, but the government is for everybody. And the government does not, they have blurred the lines between party and government.
And you can see how dangerous that is, because, you know, when do you decide to, you know, give the people, and when do you decide to give your, you know, your supporters?
Your party.
Yeah.
This is not right.
It isn't right.
Once you have been elected as a government, you're no longer a party. You are the government for the people.
You're absolutely correct, caller. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. And, you know, I think in all of that, that's the point I am making, that in all of what we are seeing from the many decisions being made, even when, what's his name, Bofes is, you know, the attaché to the Prime Minister, he's also the PRO of the United Workers' Party, then he's also, you know, he's out there. So you don't know when, you know, to make it about the country, and you don't know when to make it about party. And I think that continues to really put us in a difficult situation. And even now, when we're saying, you know, people need some assistance, people need some financial assistance with all what's going on during Easter, Journée Noel, Christmas, everything, there are certain sectors that have really suffered financially, and to this day we haven't heard anything of, you know, how are they going to be, you know, financially assisted. In fact, no, what you're getting is people saying, you know what, they don't need anything and they need to work for what they want, and we don't have money to give and all that sort of thing, especially when you know money has been wasted. I think that there are a lot of people, some young people, who want to disregard all of this political talk, all of, you know, if you're following a party, then everything they do, everything they say is right. Some of it is wrong, and you have to be able to put it out there. And I think when you're starting to treat people in a certain way, you run the risk of being confronted by this very same residents. Let's put up the next video with Guy Joseph. Oh, should we take the call first? Okay, we'll take the call. Good morning.
Good morning, Trisha. How are you?
I'm okay.
They're watching your show, lying on the bed, they're watching the show.
Oh, you okay?
And I'm telling you, I've laughed so much. I've laughed so much of their nonsense them wardens and police doing in St. Lucia. It's a real disgrace to the human race. And I'm calling on Daisy. If you know you can lie, tell the people you cannot lie. For you come in and say, you are police for everybody, all St. Lucians, no party, and you doing that criminality job to the people of this country? Do you see these fellows need to ask themselves questions? Daisy, there is a Mr. named Kamal and all the others who are doing dirty work for Alan Chastney. I want you all to go back in the history. Think of other policemen who used to do dirty work for John Compton. Some who have died, and look at the state of some of them. Once a police, twice a civilian. You have family, Daisy, and the other policemen wardens, you all have family. When thing started happening to you all will say to the people, say to God, I'm sorry. Yes, God might forgive you, but at the end of the day, God has seen the wickedness you have done to people by lying to the people of this country, supporting a criminal government who is against a lot of the people in this country.
The Prime Minister has apologized. Will you accept his apology? When was that apology? That was months ago. Did you accept his apology? The Prime Minister apologized a few months ago. Whether you accepted it?
No matter what, Peter Mati shows matter what. Okay. So what I'm saying to them, there's a word that I say, the more you wiggle, the deeper you will see, including the government and all those who supporting Alan Chastney in their wicked best. No matter if you're a doctor, you're a nurse, no matter who you are. So long you supporting criminality and injustices against your own people, sometimes you will not reach nowhere. Not even the money you get in, or backhand money, or whichever you get in.
Thank you very much, caller. I think I have another call on hold. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's take that other call. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Trisha.
Good morning, sir.
My contribution today is on a statement by Belrose. I must tell you that this statement is very deep. Deep in the sense that we should really, I would advise people to really look at that statement again, go through it thoroughly, and get what Belrose was saying. But it's very deep. Now, as for the wardens, with what the video is circulating around, what I'm seeing right now there, St. Lucia is a big plantation, and Massa is stretching his road by using the very same mendicants to execute his dirty work. We are now living in a police state, and it's really, really sad. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you put it in a way, yeah. That's exactly what I took an hour to say that. Thank you. Let's take another call. Good morning.
Good morning, Trisha.
Good morning, sir.
I hope you had a great Easter.
Under your cocoon. Yeah.
But on another note, you see, from the time I started hearing Guy Joseph speaking about they never did things in his constituency, whenever I hear he say that, I will shake my head. Because what happens is that before the last administration, when the UWP was in office, the Taiwanese was giving ministers money in their hands. So they had a free way of spending that money. When the Labour Party came into office, I remember there was Mr. Montrose, who is the NFTO. He was the director or the manager of a program looking after the CDP programs. I remember having him a few times on my program on Radio St. Lucia. And one day I put that same question about what I used to hear from Guy's place, and he showed me and told us that every constituency are getting services, but Mr. Joseph refused to agree with the terms and conditions, because he believed that the money should have come into his hand so that he can spread out as he needs, and this is not what CDP was under the previous administration. So in that, I'm so happy that the facts are coming out right now to see how many programs, how much money, and how many programs that were developed in his constituency. And I think people should call these guys out on their lies.
Yeah.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, sir. And I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your week, just so we enjoy your Easter. We have another call. Good morning.
Good morning, Tresha.
Good morning, sir.
Tresha, do you remember some weeks ago, a little over six weeks to be exact, or close to 7 weeks, the president of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, Dr. Merle Clark, writing for the SLMDA, addressed a letter to the Prime Minister urging him to put certain measures in place. Otherwise, the COVID positive cases in St. Lucia would rise to 6,000 and the number of deaths to 90. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Okay. That letter was dated the 19th of February. The SLMDA stated in the letter that within 4 weeks we would see those numbers, unless and until the Prime Minister put those measures in place. Do you also remember that the Prime Minister rubbished the letter written by the SLMD addressed to him? And his thing was that the reason why we were having so many cases was because of the huge backlog of tests that had to be done, which were now being done. At the time, I put something on Facebook. I called your show as well, And I said that the SLMDA must tell us the methodology that they used to arrive at the numbers that they did. I never got a response. But Tresha, I think it's time that members of the media approach Dr. Merle Clark, who is the president of the SLMD, because look, we need
and she
to
was
trust
just re-elected
our experts.
too.
And if we can't trust our experts, then who can we trust? Our experts told us that if the Prime Minister, if the government didn't put certain measures in place, we would see cases within the next 4 weeks, that was from the 19th of February, rise to 6,000. We are now at what? 4,002? 4,003? Way less than 6,000. I think we were at 61 or so deaths. So what type of methodology did Merle Clark and the other members of the SLMDA use to arrive at those figures? Or did the Prime Minister put those measures in place, the same measures that he rubbished? Or is it that they're now falsifying figures? We need to know what's going on, and Dr. Merle Clark must respond to those questions. The members of the media must interview Dr. Merle Clark, so we know exactly what is going on. Dr. Merle Clark and the rest of the SLMD must not be allowed to get away with this, because we need to be able to trust our experts. Thank you, Tresha.
Good point, sir. And from the very beginning when I saw that, and then I don't know if you remember, but Charlie also had something to say. Then you had the Prime Minister saying that, you know, that was a wrong calculation, and they had a meeting with the CMO, and okay, let's take that other call. Good morning.
Good morning. And how are you this morning?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, so long I call your show. Get us a little occupied. Listen, something happened in Mikun yesterday.
Yeah.
And I want to know that curfew. It is for one set of people, and that curfew is not for Flabo supporters.
What happened yesterday? What happened? What you saw?
Because, okay, Labour Party was putting the flags up on the pole Saturday and Sunday. Saturday morning. That yesterday, this morning when I got up, they had Flabo flags on the post. So if the curfew was at 3 o'clock, how those flags came on the post overnight? So that to show you well, they broke the curfew.
Or maybe they woke up at 4 in the morning.
So they do it in the night time, not in the morning. But I get up very early.
Okay.
I get up every morning. I get up at my room at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Well, I guess you have a point there.
So what happened? They start all night, midnight. All 11 o'clock there was on the post.
And nothing for that?
Nothing for that. Okay?
Yeah.
Nothing for that.
Nothing for that.
Because when I got up this morning, I said, but what? But that didn't happen. That didn't happen yesterday. So I don't know if either they just stick it and they send it and stick on the post. I don't know something. I don't know if it could happen. Just stick it and send the.
Stay at your home and send it on the post. Listen, caller, you are absolutely. This is what we're talking about, and you see it in different ways, in different communities. You see it in the example that you just put out, and we're seeing it nationally too. We really are living with this double standard, and we're continuing to accept it.
And the next thing again, I think what I realized with the United Workers Party, I think they have a curse. Because every time you see this, they have a curse.
What kind of curse?
They have a curse carrying. Because every time one of them open their mouth, it's damaging them.
How you can say it's a curse? I think when they speak the truth, we might not like to hear it, but that is what they think. Because when I heard Ring the Bell said what he said there, I said what? I said what? Ring the Bell said that? That he rather a white man to put food on his table? A black man saying he rather a white man to put food on his table? So I thought you are arrested. Ring the Bell said that?
So I want to know. Yes, Ring the Bell said it.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. And answer the other call you get in. The go in Vex. We have another call? Okay, listen. This is where we're living in this country, and for some people who feel like the injustice they cannot take anymore, they will, confront they will confront the ministers in the way that they see fit. Before we take the next call, let's just look at this, the next video we have here showing Guy Joseph and one of his constituents.
I told you, do not put me on. Just be very careful.
Let's take the call. Good morning. Good morning.
I thought you really like to delay people, you know, Tresha.
Beautiful. Talk to me, caller.
Morning,
Mr.
how are you?
Winston. I'm good.
No, I really want to touch on that fortunate Belarus situation, you know, because it's really coming to pass, you know, really, really, really. This lady, I worked under her as director of
You worked under her, so please.
Permanent secretary.
Okay.
Senior youth and sports officer.
Oh,
and
yeah,
to have
okay.
heard her make such a statement, man, that's pathetic. I just cannot believe it. Of Fortuna. Now, this is what I suffered, you know, when I worked under her. Every request I made for projects or programs in Labrie, Mikud itself, Deriso, Viewfort, they shoved me off. They would naturally put me off. Fortuna herself has told me, Luben, stay out of politics. Stay out of politics. Don't get involved in that. Do your work. And I was doing nothing. They want to come down for me, a number of them. Come down. What is Luben doing wrongly? No. He's labor. Compton said, deal with him yourselves. Now I admire this man for that, you know, Compton. He knew what it is to have played politics, and he knew what politics was all about. And to hear these people coming right now and making such stupid statements, you know, they're destroying their own selves. Fortuna right now is hoisted with her own petard, with the nonsense that she has made, the statement that she has made. And these people should not be in politics. We can have people like that, you know, who do not know from their head to their toe, say your husband must be your driver. And you're coming on national radio and embarrassing Shastny like that? That is an embarrassment to the private estate, though. The man should just right away revoke the man's appointment to be a wise driver. That's mediocrity at the highest level. We cannot go ahead in this country with that nonsense. Mediocrity. We cannot have people, you know, who do not know what they're about or what they're doing. And you would feel that these people are way up there. And you would feel that these people are leaders who could lead people and help people along. But right now they are exposing themselves. They're showing how feeble, how weak, and the level of stupidity that obtains at the highest level in the land. We can't take this thing, man. I think Fortuna should apologize to the nation. And Shastny at least should revoke her appointment as a minister. Because that is really pathetic. To say that on national radio, and the world is hearing that. Oh my God. That's more than an error, you know, man. It's more than a mistake. It's been that, you know, she's just been stupid. These people don't know what they're about and what they're doing and how they're doing it. I feel very shameful for Fortuna to have been my boss. Thank you, Trisha.
Hey, next time, just come and take my show. Just come and do the show. Very well said, sir. Thank you very much. Listen, I'm telling you, it must be difficult. And I thought too, with Fortuna and working in that environment, you know, when the driver is the boss man, you know, if he can come late and he can do what he wants, can you even say anything? All these little things, it must be very strange to be working there. But I do not agree, even though what you said, I agreed with many of it, but I do not agree that Fortuna should apologize. Apologize for what? She said what is happening. She said what the party is thinking. She said, you know, how they're going about doing things. And why should the Prime Minister revoke anything? He was the one who allowed it to happen in the first place. So for the first time in a long time, we're getting the truth of the matter, and I don't think we should, turn away from it. We need to look at it head on, realize the situation that we are in. I do not like fake apologies. I'm not into that. I'm not into the business of that. So the people said what they said. Now it is time for you to make a decision. Are you going to fall for it? Are you going to be, what they expect you to be? Because you're fair. What will you do? The onus right now is back on you, back on us. As a country, as a nation. And I think, it's a good note to end on. Thank you to the callers. As always, you really give me a lot to think about, and to the for the viewers and the listeners as well. We have come to the end of the show. Thank you very, very much. I missed you guys over the long weekend, and I hope that we can continue during this week to have these conversations with the sincerity and honesty that they deserve. But until then, do have a good one, and I'll see you, Seaboardively, same time tomorrow.
I can't stay.